Hello students, I hope you're fine. Hola chicos, espero que se encuentren bien. This is Teacher Genaro, este es el Teacher Genaro, and today we are going to study a topic that will help you to talk about situations in the past. El día de hoy vamos a ver un tema que se utiliza para hablar de cosas que hicimos en el pasado. But, well, this is not a simple present that we used to use when we want to talk about a past. Pero no es el típico tema del pasado simple en el cual queremos hacer cosas en el pasado. This time we are going to talk about situations that we were doing in the past. Esta vez vamos a hablar de situaciones que estábamos haciendo en el pasado y que tuvieron cierto tiempo en el cual las desarrollamos. So let's check this for examples. Vamos a ver primero estos 4 ejemplos. And we have to identify what is the one that it doesn't belong to here. Vamos a identificar uno que no pertenece a este past continuous, pasado continuo. Well, the first thing that we have to know, lo primero que tenemos que saber is that this continuous has 2 names. Este continuo tiene 2 nombres. It can be past continuous, puede ser pasado continuo, or it can be past progressive. So it can be past continuous or past progressive. Tiene los 2 nombres, cualquiera de los 2 es correcto. And well, now let's check these 4 sentences. Remember, recuerden, situations that we were doing. Situaciones que estuvimos haciendo in a certain time, en un cierto momento. So let's start. Vamos a empezar con la primera. My mother was cooking yesterday, which means mi mamá estuvo cocinando ayer, which is correct. It's part of the past continuous. Correcto, es parte del pasado continuo. After that we have my parents were reading a book. My parents were reading a book. Mis papás estuvieron leyendo un libro. Correct, there is no problem, no hay problema. Number 3, the children were eating candies. Los niños estuvieron comiendo dulces, which is correct, there is no problem. And finalmente, my mother cooked yesterday. Mi mamá cocinó ayer. Okay, from these 4, what is the one that doesn't belong to the past continuous? ¿Cuál es el que no pertenece al pasado continuo? Well, as you can see, these 2 sentences are very similar. Como podrán ver aquí, estos 2 enunciados son muy similares, but there is a difference, pero hay una diferencia. Here, I am talking about an action that started and finished in that moment. Aquí estoy hablando de una acción que empezó y terminó en ese momento. My mother cooked yesterday. Mi mamá cocinó ayer. Punto. But not here. Pero aquí no. Here I am talking about the development of that action. Aquí estoy hablando del desarrollo que tuvo esa acción. My mother was cooking yesterday. Mi mamá estaba cocinando ayer. Okay? So, let's analyze now how can we design sentences like this. As in other tenses, the past continuous will have 3 kind of sentences. Como en otros tiempos, este tiempo va a tener 3 formas. Well, the affirmative, la afirmación, the negative, and the question. We are going to start analyzing the affirmative sentence. Vamos a comenzar analizando la forma afirmativa. And well, this is very easy. In order to build an affirmative sentence in past continuous or past progressive, we need a subject. Necesitamos primero un sujeto. Well, I will use Peter. Peter is my subject. Now, as we were studying the verb to be in the past, así como estábamos estudiando el verbo to be en pasado, recuerden que el was, ¿para qué se usa? And the where. ¿Y el where para qué se usa? Well, was is used for I was, he was, in this case, he was, she was, it was, okay? So the was is going to be used with I, he, she, and it. And the where with the rest. Y el where con el resto. You, we, and they. So, the first thing that we have to identify, entonces lo primero que tenemos y debemos de hacer es identificar who is my subject, quién es mi sujeto, in order to know, para poder saber if I have to use was or if I have to use were. Si tengo que utilizar el was o el were. Entonces tengo aquí Peter is my subject. Who is Peter? You, we, they, I, he, she, or it. Well, as I know, Peter is he. Peter es él. Yes? So that's why I have to use, por esa razón debo utilizar was. Peter was. Okay? After the was or were, I have to use the verb. Now, what is going to be the verb? Well, I will use the verb play. Play, okay? So Peter was play, but the other thing is that I have to add an ing form to my verb. La otra situación es que tengo que agregarle la forma ing a mi verbo. Entonces, Peter was playing. Peter was playing, and let's put in the park. Yes, so here we have Peter was playing in the park. Peter estaba jugando en el parque. Okay? I will use the other that I used before, my parents. First, I need a subject. This is my subject. My parents is this part. Now, I have to use was or I have to use were. What is the correct form here? Well, my parents are I. ¿Son yo mis papás? No, of course not. Is he, es él mis papás? Of course not. She? No. It? No. You? No. So I have to use we? No, I don't think so. My parents are they. Mis papás son ellos. So that's why I have to use were. Por eso tengo que utilizar were. My parents were. Read is the verb. Read es mi verbo, el verbo leer. But I have to use the ing form. Pero tengo que utilizar la forma ing. So, reading a book, my complement. Y un libro es mi complemento. My parents were reading a book. Mis papás estaban leyendo un libro. Well, example number 3. Ejemplo número 3. The children. Los niños. The children is I, he, she, it, you, we, or they. Who is the children? ¿Quiénes o quiénes son los niños? The children are they. Los niños son ellos. That's why I have to use were. The children were. The verb eat. The verb eat. El verbo comer. The children were eating with ing form. The children were eating candies. The children were eating candies. Los niños estaban comiendo dulces. And well, let's do another. The teacher, this is my subject. Who is the teacher? Depending if it's a girl or a boy. If it is who is the teacher? ¿Quién es el teacher? Aquí va a depender mucho. Because if he's, she or he, si es él o ella. But both, pero ambos utilizan was. The teacher was teaching. Sorry, I made a mistake here. I have to use the ing form because according to the verb with ing, the teacher was teaching an English lesson. So here, the teacher was teaching an English lesson. El profesor estaba enseñando una lección de inglés. Okay? Now, let's discover how can we build the negative sentences. Okay, now we are going to talk about the negative sentences with the past continuous. The sentence, the pattern is very similar, but it has a change. Now, instead of where and the verb and ing, we have to add the word not. Es un poquito parecida a la anterior, sin embargo, aquí hay que agregarle la palabra not. That means that is negative. eso significa que va a ser negativa. So, first we need the subject. Primero necesitamos el sujeto. Let's write Peter again. Okay, again, de nuevo, who is Peter? ¿Quién es Peter? Peter is he, that's why I have to use was. ¿Quién es Peter? Es él, por eso tengo que usar was. Pero ahora, no solo va a ser was, sino también not. Peter was not, the verb play, el verbo play, with ing form, playing in the park. In the park. So here we have, entonces aquí tenemos, Peter was not playing in the park. Peter no estaba jugando en el parque. Well, here we can use contractions. Aquí podemos utilizar contracciones. It can be was not, puede ser was not, o también puede ser wasn't. Aquí puede ser were not o puede ser weren't. Entonces, está bien si yo pongo was not, o también podría estar bien si yo utilizo el wasn't. Peter wasn't playing in the park. And it has exactly the same meaning. Y tiene exactamente el mismo significado. Next example, siguiente ejemplo. My parents, who is the subject, que es mi sujeto. My parents was not or were not. Were not, of course, because my parents are they. Were not, porque mis papás son ellos. Quiero usar una contracción. Weren't, ahí está. Plus the verb with ing form. In this case, well, my parents weren't read, and with ing form, reading, and the complement, a book. So, my parents weren't reading a book. Mis papás no estaban leyendo un libro. Next example, siguiente ejemplo. The children is the subject. Los niños es el sujeto. Who are the children? ¿Quiénes son los niños? They, ellos. That's why I have to use were not. Por eso tengo que utilizar were not. Esta vez no quiero utilizar contracción, so I just use were not. The children were not eat plus ing, eating candies. So the sentence is like this. The children were not eating candies. Los niños no estaban comiendo dulces. Finalmente, I was not playing soccer. Yo no estaba jugando fútbol, soccer. Now, in the case of the interrogative sentences, we are going to have different pattern. Vamos a tener una estructura diferente. Now, we are going to start with was or were. Ahora vamos a comenzar con el was o el were, plus or subject, más nuestro sujeto, plus or verb, más nuestro verbo with an ing ending, con una terminación ing, plus the complement, and of course a question mark, because we are talking about interrogative. Y por supuesto nuestro signo de interrogación, ya que estamos hablando de una interrogación. So, entonces, here is going to be the same. Aquí va a ser igual. El was va a ser para I, he, and she, it. And the were for you, we, and they. Okay? So, in the case of the first example, Peter was Peter playing, well, the verb is playing, but with ing is playing in the park, Was Peter playing in the park? And a question mark because we are building a question. So, was Peter playing in the park? ¿Estaba Peter jugando en el parque? Number 2, where my parents, mis papás son ellos, my parents are they, entonces tiene que ser con where. Where my parents, read is verb, but with ing is reading. Were my parents reading a book? Were my parents reading a book? And the question mark, of course, because this is a question. Now, I will do the other example. Were the children, the verb eat, with ing, eating. Were the children eating candies? Estaban los niños comiendo dulces. Okay, and well, I will write another. Was Louis drinking? Well, the verb is drink, but we ing is drinking. Was Louis drinking a soda? or water, I don't know, okay? So, and the question mark. This is how we build the questions. Now, well, we have now the 3 sentences. Let's do more exercises in order that you can understand these 3 sentences better. Hello students, now we are going to solve some exercises in order that you can observe how the present progressive or present continuous work. So number 1, look, Andy, what is the correct option? Andy, I'm working, Andy are working, or Andy is working. I'm working, are working, or is working in the garden. This is the correct answer since my point of view. Number 2, I, TV at the moment. I am watching, I are watching, or I is watching. The correct answer here is I am watching TV at the moment. Number 3, we am reading, we are reading, or we is reading. The correct answer here is we are reading a book. Nosotros estamos leyendo un libro. Number 4, she am playing, she are playing, or she is playing the piano. The correct sentence here is she is playing the piano. Number 5, listen, Sue and John, escucha, Sue y John. Sue and John am singing, are singing, or is singing. Who is Sue and John? ¿Quién es Sue y John? They. Por lo tanto, Sue and John are singing. Están cantando. Part number 2. Parte número 2. Put the verbs into present progressive. Coloca los verbos en presente progresivo. So, my sister is cleaning the bathroom. Look, they are going inside. Number 3, I am waiting in the car now. Number 4, Mrs. Miller is listening to CDs. And finally, number 5, we are speaking English at the moment. Okay, I hope these exercises are fine. Now let's solve the other one. It says exceptions. Choose the correct form. Note that there are exceptions in spelling with adding ing. Va a haber algunas excepciones cuando querramos agregar el ing. Ahorita vamos a ver cuáles son. Por ejemplo, dice his brother, su hermano, is writing or writing. What do you think? Well, when we have a verb that finishes in letter E, cuando tenemos un verbo que termina en letra E, lo que vamos a hacer es intercambiar la letra E por la ing nada más, ¿sale? Entonces, instead of this is writing, is, both are the same. Este no puede ser, dijimos, cuando tenemos una E, la cambiamos nada más por el ing, pero ahora quiero saber si es his brother is writing or writing. This is the correct answer. They what? They are swimming. As you notice here, there's an exception because I have to put double M. Aquí hay una excepción porque tuve que ponerle doble M. Number 3. Look, David and Max are coming. David and Max or David and Max are coming home. Next, the dog Charlie is running. Well, here is running. And finally, breakfast now. I am making breakfast now. Okay? So, now let's check our answers. Vamos a checar cómo quedaron estas. Let's check that everything is correct. Vamos a ver que todo esté correcto. So, in the first exercise, en el primer caso, we are correct. Everything is right. Todo está bien. In the second case, well, everything is correct as well. Todo está bien también. And finally, in the last exercise, everything is correct. Finalmente, en nuestro último ejercicio, todo está bien. So you can practice at home. There are a lot of links in which you can practice. Hay muchos links en los cuales puedes practicar. So these are just some examples. Estos son unos ejemplos. So for today that's all. Por hoy es todo. I hope to see you in the next video. Espero verte en el siguiente video. Goodbye. Take care.